Sonic is a furry. What other enlightening things do you have to tell me? Hi, Lonely Umbreon. Hello, Blim Blim. Momentum coming out of a fall. Even if you think the whole windy. Even if you think the homing attack makes things too easy, you can still kill enemies by just jumping into them, which is sometimes
Ready, go!
What other streams will I do today? I'm thinking about streaming The Legend of Spyro later today, which is sometimes faster than using the homing attack. The only thing I don't. The only thing I don't like about Sonic's gameplay is one of his power-ups, the Lightspeed Dash. I like how SI2 did it better, where it's just. Hey, Al, do you want to go back outside? Go back outside, baby. I also have Taco here with me. He's right next to me. He's uncomfortably close to me, as a matter of fact. dash. I like how SI2 did it better, where it's just a button press, whereas here you just have to charge it up. But it's mostly optional and for alternate routes and levels. Edit and hear your own voice. Yeah, at least I have a good mic. But it's mostly optional and for alternate routes and levels. And it can be cut down. And its charging time can be cut down by another power-up, the Crystal Ring, so it's not a big deal at all. Though a deal at all. Though a power-up I do like is the Lightspeed attack. Barring one instance in Sonic's story, it's entirely optional, but I love Sonic's power-up I do like is the Lightspeed attack. Though a power-up I do like is the Lightspeed attack. Barring Barring one instance in Sonic's story, it's entirely optional, but I love to charge up and decimate large groups of enemies with it. Sometimes it can go weird and you'll be stuck spinning around an enemy, though you can easily control the attack a bit with the control stick and get out of that loop. Though I must say it is kind of entertaining when it happens. You can You can actually do double damage on Chaos 6 if you use the light speed attack on him, which was a really nice touch. Though as far as I know, he's the only boss that you can do it on, so it's a bit inconsistent in that aspect. Another nice touch is that Sonic's levels all feature different. Another nice touch is that Sonic's levels all feature different acts with their own music tracks, just like 3 and K did. However, these are all considered the same level and flow right into each other. Each act will have something unique about it. However, these are all considered the same level and flow right into each other. Each act will have something unique about it. Speed Highway is the best example of this. The first act has you running atop the buildings and through the roadways in the skyline at night. And through the roadways in the skyline at night. The second act is a transition, running down a skyscraper while dodging obstacles. The third act has you reach the ground level of the city where the sun has begun to rise. Speed Highway just might be the best level in Sonic Adventure, maybe in all of 3D Sonic. This level was chosen for Generations for good reason. It's just a shame it didn't have the ground level Dawn section. Alright, I'm gonna go hunt down some Generations footage of Speed Highway, so I'm gonna disable the display capture for a sec. Sonic JGB's footage will do nicely. Of course, I'll credit him. Actually, it's a bit too low quality for me. Darkspine Sonic? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, record this. Okay, that'll work. Overall, Sonic's game it's just this level was chosen for generations for good reason. It's just a shame it didn't have the ground level Dawn section. Overall, Sonic. This level was chosen for generations for good reason. It's just a shame it didn't have the ground level Dawn section. Overall, Sonic's gameplay has a lot to offer, with a lot of depth and a skill gap accommodating all players, whether players, whether you're blazing down a slope or slope or exploring using the smooth controls. I hope you understand why I say this is some of the best 3D Sonic gameplay we have to date. Likewise with Sonic. Video only. Yeah, I remember that. I think, but I don't remember it like applying, like staying applied to the thing. Wendy be like, "Hey, listen! Watch out!" Likewise with Sonic, SA1 features the best 3D Tails, no, the best Tails gameplay we've ever seen. Because in the classics, Tails' flight was... I don't have any footage for Tails! No. Sonic 3 Tails playthrough. This is not the right display capture I'm supposed to be using. Right one. Blue Star. This'll work. Hello, YouTube. Can you stop lagging? Hey, Stent. Where have you been all morning? Hello again, Extreme Lucario. Oh god damn it, I hovered my mouse over the video playback thing. That'll work. Because in the classics, Tails' flight was relatively slow, especially vertically. Here, it's vertically. Here, it's relatively slow, especially vertically. Here, it's lightning fast and you have a great degree of control over it. At the risk of sounding repetitive, his flight controls feel super good to maneuver and are easy to understand. He's at his fastest when flying. The Onion Blur mod? And he's at his fastest when flying, in fact even more so when you get the Jet Anklet power-up, which is available as flying, in fact. Never heard of that mod. When flying, in fact even more so when you get the Jet Anklet power-up, which is available as soon as you start Tails' story. And you actually have a story. And you actually have a lot of control over Tails' flight patterns. If you hold the action button while flying, the newest Dreamcast conversion mod collection. Oh, so it's just an update. Is it an update to better SADX? Or is it something separate? If you hold the action button while flying, Tails will descend extremely quickly, which you can use to great effect to make an Hello again, Bliss Dragon. Taco, would you stop trying to lay on my hand? I can't mouse properly. Does the Dreamcast conversion mod give me the ability to play with DX models? Used to great effect to make, or is it at least modular? Which you can use to great effect to make an absolute joke out of his Windy Valley if you know your way to the end. And also, you can preserve Tails'
attack! Come on!
Disable the models? Oh, I meant, but can I play it with Dreamcast, textures? DX models with Dreamcast textures. That's my preferred look. Joke out of his Windy Valley if you know your way to the end. And also, you can preserve Tails' energy if you let go of the jump button at the cost of descending slowly, so you won't run out of energy and drop rapidly, so you can get extra distances. Of descending slowly, so you won't run out of energy and drop rapidly, so you can get extra Can I use better SADX at the same time with Dreamcast conversion? Distance this way. Tails, unlike some... I'll have to look into that after this. Yeah, I just did stunt. Better SADX does have some bug fixes though, and some other stuff, and like HD UI scaling. Tails, unlike Sonic, doesn't have a spin dash like he did in the 2D games. Instead, he can roll into a ball while running, which still does damage and is great for picking up. Still does damage and it is great for picking up momentum down a slope. Something I love is that in Windy Valley, when roll... I mean, I'm already playing with Dreamcast textures. Better SADX does give me the option to use Dreamcast textures, but apparently Dreamcast conversion has some other stuff. It is great for picking up momentum down a slope. Something I love is that... Something I love is that in Windy Valley, when rolling down a slope, if you bump into the wall, you'll get flung into the air, which you can then chain into flight. Even if it's a glitch, I think it's actually really fun to take advantage of. Tails' primary attack this time around is his Okay. I'll try to see if I can run it at the same time as better SADX. I don't see why I shouldn't be able to. Tails' primary attack this time around is his tail attack, which gets upgraded later into a continuous twirl. The cool thing about it, though, is that you have to do more than just hold down the action button. While your tail down the action button. While your Tails will kill enemies if they hit, you can still take damage if you just rush in and Tails' body makes contact with the enemy. You have to the enemy. You have to keep a good distance, but also spin the control stick in the direction Tails is moving, which makes him spin twice as fast. Just goes to show how something as seemingly simple as this attack can actually have some depth to it. Something that lets Tails' campaign down a bit is how much of it is pretty much the same as Sonic's. They both fight the Egg Hornet Chaos 4 and both have both acts of Sky Chase. Because of this, I recommend Tails be the last because I hadn't had my UI scaled properly when I recorded this footage, that's why it looks all weird. Because of this, I recommend Tails be the last character you play so it doesn't feel as repetitive. Thankfully, most of Tails' levels play completely different from Sonic's thanks to his unique abilities. And at the very least, Tails' Speed Highway is a Oh yeah, you can do Sonic, unlock Tails, and then Tails first, and then Sonic last. That's also an option. Abilities. And at the very least, Tails' Speed Highway is a masterpiece of a level, definitely one of the best levels in the whole game. And his final boss is a in the whole game. And his final boss is a fun one that he gets all to himself. I might be overreaching here, but I find Tails' objective of raising a character to the end of the stage to be very fitting, considering he spent so much time living in Sonic's shadow, and that successfully beating him reflects his story's theme of him growing into his own and believing in himself. As amazing Me neither, Connor. This commentary is going to be about an hour long, around an hour long. As amazing as Tails' gameplay is, it's sadly underutilized. Tails in SA1 is the epitome of there not being enough of a good thing. He only has 5 levels, one of which is just snowboarding, and another being enough of a good thing. He only has 5 levels, one of which is just snowboarding, and another is way too confined to properly take advantage of Tails' flight. And while the other 3 can make great use of Tails, it hurts me that he doesn't have more levels, because I love him in this game, and we haven't had any worthwhile on-foot Tails gameplay since. Here's foot Tails gameplay since. Here's to hoping we get this kind of Tails gameplay again at some point, because it is brilliant. Knuckles likes sense. Here's to hoping we get this kind of Tails gameplay again at some point, because it is brilliant. Knuckles, like Sonic and Tails, has foot Tails gameplay since. Here's to hoping we get this kind of Tails gameplay again at some point, because it is brilliant. Knuckles brilliant. Knuckles, like Sonic and Tails, has been very well. Here's to hoping we get this kind of Tails gameplay again at some point, because it is brilliant. Knuckles, like Sonic and Tails, has been very well translated. Knuckles, like Sonic and Tails, has been very well translated into 3D, likewise with improvements, like okay, I need some S3 and K Knuckles footage.
It's just per each act. Fact is one of the
Just need this guy to glide and then land on the ground. Permission to use this footage? No, but I don't need to. Usage of this footage falls under fair use because I'm using it for analysis and review. And I credit him anyway. I don't need to credit him, but I do anyway, out of good faith. Hey, happy birthday, Wabu. There we go. Jeez, that took a while. Like, Knuckles no longer loses all momentum after landing a glide and instant momentum after landing a glide and instantly starts running after hitting the ground. Though now he's lost the spin dash like Tails and can also roll into a ball while running. I actually prefer it this way. Though now he's lost the spin dash like Tails and can also roll into a ball while running. Even though he already credited himself in the footage itself, I'm gonna add it anyway. Turkish bullet. After hitting the ground. Though now he's lost
やるな、ナックルズ。
Though now he's lost the spin dash like Tails and can also roll into a ball while running. I actually prefer it this way since it puts emphasis on running. I actually prefer it this way since it puts emphasis on Sonic as the crazy speed character. Tails and Knuckles are still very speedy themselves, but I feel the spin dash is something that should be exclusive to Sonic. Another improvement from the classics is Knuckles' climb is now way faster. These are things Another improvement from the classics is Knuckles' climb is now way faster. These are God damn it, I don't have any footage of Mania, Knuckles in Mania. The real Sonic fan. Hey, Wolfie. That'll do. He already credited himself in the corner there. Don't know if I want to put... Should I put the credit disclaimer over his own logo? I don't know. It'd be kind of weird if I did, but if I don't, it's kind of inconsistent with the rest of the video. These are things I found strange that Mania didn't take note of when including Knuckles. Same goes for Tails too, come to think of it. Knuckles. Same goes for Tails too, come to think of it. I'll put it over his own logo. The real Sonic fan. That Mania didn't take note of when including Knuckles. Same goes for Tails too, come to think of it. I don't know why Knuckles is pink in Mania. Anyway, Knuckles' gameplay of it. Anyway, Knuckles' gameplay involves non-linear hunting for 3 shards of the Master Emerald, so it's a slight change of pace from Sonic and Tails, but functionally the same, only the focus here is on speedy but functionally the same, only the focus here is on speedy exploration. Knuckles' moveset in 3 and K already facilitated increased exploration, so I think I have some footage that I'd like to use for what I'm talking about here from someone. I think it's also by Turkish Bullet. What features are in Mania Plus? A lot. I'll be in your SD card is corrupted. Oh no. Oh no. There we go. Here's the footage I want to use. Yes, this is also by Turkish Bullet. Moveset in 3 and K already facilitated increased exploration, so I find this objective for Knuckles levels very fitting. Moveset in 3 and K already facilitated, and it takes advantage. Thanks, Turkish Bullet. Knuckles' moveset in 3 and K already facilitated increased exploration, so I find this objective for Knuckles levels very fitting. And it takes... Hey Tim. And it takes advantage of his moveset very nicely. And like I said, I think his section very nicely. And like I said, I think his sections actually make for the best areas in Sonic's level when he has to go through very fitting. And it takes advantage of his moveset very nicely. And like I said, I think his sections actually make for the best areas in Sonic's level when he has to go through them because of how open and vertical they are. It's just It's just a shame you're not ranked for your performance in this game, because there are tons of huge areas filled with enemies to kill and items to collect, but you don't need to do anything other than find the emerald shards to complete the levels. I like to go after items and enemies on my own volition, but it would have been nice if we had more incentive to do things other than... Yeah, it can be confusing, Tim. Levels. I like to go after items and enemies on my own volition, but it would have been nice if we had more incentive to do things other than collect the emerald shards. While I do like SA2's hunting stages more than these, their radar system... While I do like SA2's hunting stages more than these, their radar system in this game is much better. It things other than collect the emerald shards. While I do like SA2's hunting stages more than these, their radar system in this game is much better. It works on all pieces at a time, which means you can go after them in any order. I understand why it was changed in SA2, but this system does feel more intuitive and natural. Knuckles also gets a power-up that enables him to do the maximum heat Knuckles attack. It's functionally identical to Sonic's light speed. Knuckles also gets a power-up that enables him to reaching the 20-minute mark on this video. But this system does feel more intuitive and natural. Knuckles also gets a power-up that enables him to do the maximum heat Knuckles attack. It's functionally Knuckles attack. It's functionally identical to Sonic's light speed attack, so naturally I love it. And just like Sonic, identical to Sonic's light attack. It's functionally identical to Sonic's Lightspeed attack, so naturally I love it. No Extreme Lucario. And just like Sonic, Knuckles can use it to do double damage on Chaos 6. I can't I can't talk about Knuckles without mentioning his Casinopolis, which is just filled with detail and an entire second floor Sonic couldn't access. Featuring pirate ships with animatronics. Featuring pirate ships with animatronics, a I don't think the cowgirl was in my version of Adventure or my version of Better SADX when I recorded this. You're always sad. Lonely and sad aren't necessarily the same thing. No, I'm not muted. You're muted. A sexy cowgirl sign, and a giant freaking lion statue. But the best. You don't know what to do. About what? But the best part about his Casinopolis is the giant Sonic statue in the middle, which you can build up in Sonic's version with the rings you deposit. You can go up Sonic's version with the rings you deposit. Statue in the middle, which you can build up in Sonic's version with the rings you deposit. With the rings you deposit. You can go up to it and freaking destroy the thing. An emerald shard is sometimes even hidden inside it. I just love this because it implies Knuckles hates Sonic's bloated ego that much and doesn't give two fucks about tearing it down, literally. I definitely appreciate Knuckles in this game for shaking things up a bit, and I really enjoy playing as him. So now really enjoy playing as him. So now we move on to Amy. Okay, let's add some music to what we have so far. the model mod, which takes the English we'll see when starting up the game. The fucking incredible opening. Full spoilers for the game's story will follow. The opening of Sonic Adventure is nothing. The opening of Sonic Adventure is nothing short of incredible. Amazing visuals, editing, music, and The opening of Sonic Adventure is nothing short of incredible. Amazing visuals, editing, music, and underlying effects on the player. I just love how unapologetic this is coming, so it motivates you. Water monster behind it all. Then, when you get into the game itself, you become acquainted with Station Square. It becomes your home, essentially. You don't want anything bad to happen to your home, do you? Then, when it's revealed what'll happen if Chaos gets all the emeralds, you come to a grave realization that you already know where this is headed. It's like Final Destination, or Halo Reach. You're fully aware of the horrible thing that's coming, so it motivates you to try as hard as you can to prevent it. Even if it may... As we get... More music! As we get into the actual game, nowadays many people are quick to state that Sonic Adventure hasn't aged well. Looking at the game as a whole, I disagree with this, but there are a few areas where the game does show some rust. The cut As we get into the actual game, nowadays many people are quick to state that Sonic Adventure hasn't aged well. Looking at the game as a whole, I disagree with this, but there are a few areas where the game does show some rust. However, most of the time it's enough to convey what the cutscenes need to convey, and you could certainly—
Oh no!
The camera isn't perfect, but it's nowhere near as bad as it's made out to be. One thing you have to— direction falls short.
Oh no!
The camera isn't perfect, but it's nowhere near as bad as it's made out to be. One thing you have to understand is that the camera is automatic, always pointing in such a way that it's obvious where you should go. Now, you do have limited control with the triggers, but sometimes it could be Xmod, stays that way once you set it as such. This game— but I don't think it's fair to expect a game from 1998 to have the same level of overall experience from me, at least not too much. I believe Sonic Adventure to have some of the best 3D gameplay the Sonic series has ever seen, and that in some areas, it's yet to be surpassed. The gameplay in Sonic Adventure 1 is nothing short of incredible. The controls for nearly all the characters are— Alright, which song should I use for this one? Use the air for Windy Valley. It's yet to be surpassed. The gameplay in Sonic Adventure 1 is nothing short of incredible. The controls for nearly all the characters are buttery smooth, intuitive, and extremely precise. Very easy to pick up and play. I really want to stress how good the characters
Justin.
feel to control. That's something that's integral to any game, how it feels— Hey Justin. To just use the controls. The way the characters move make you feel like you have freedom and room for experimentation, even if you're just running down a linear path at times. In fact, I think SA1 does basic movement better than any other Titan 3D platformers at the time. In Mario 64, if you turn in a direction that is less than about 45 degrees to your current direction, the character will— It allows for depth and experimentation complemented by the level design. The game translated the gameplay and physics from the 2D games into 3D very nicely. The level design isn't quite as layered and complex as in the classics, but I think how open they are and the added dimension more than makes up for that. In some areas, I'd say the gameplay is even improved upon from the 2D games. For one thing, the fact that we're in 3D now inherently lends itself to work loops and the famous whale chase in Emerald Coast. I can understand people not wanting scripted sections. All have their own objectives flung into the air and given an aerial view of the environment. Segments between major areas. Sonic Adventure features 6 playable characters that all have their own objectives and movesets. I really enjoyed playing as most of them and seeing things from their perspectives. Not only does this add some gameplay variety, but thanks to the new generation of consoles at the time, they were able to be fleshed out with power to try all different styles of gameplay and to give each character a map once as a child and once. The 6 characters share a lot of levels, and as such they needed to be Speed Highway and Lost World where Sonic visits the same locations Knuckles does. I love to experiment and find interesting ways to I think SA1 has the best level, and that's the game adopts the 2D game's level to pick up. I love to experiment and find interesting ways to maneuver these environments, and that's something that permeates Sonic Adventure's level design, its size and intricacy. I think SA1 has the best level design out of any other 3D Sonic game. The game adopts the 2D game's level philosophy of open area to speed lane to open area and so on. But even in the linear speed lanes, it doesn't feel restrictive, thanks to the vivid controls and character abilities to play around with. And let's talk about those characters and how they play, shall we? Sonic's gameplay is just flat out incredible and the best he's ever played in 3D. I really can't understate how great he plays in this game. Just like in the 2D games, Sonic smoothly gains momentum as you move forward. This allows the player to platform comfortably, but also to pick up speed when needed. And thanks to the spin dash, you have a way to instantly gain speed, provided you have the skill to handle it yourself. Some people might not agree with me, but I think the spin dash is the best thing about Sonic's gameplay. In the 2D games, you had to hold down and tap A to charge the spin dash. However, in this game, all you have to do is hold down and release the action button, and you can turn freely while charging it up. But you know what's even better? You can continuously tap the action button to friggin' spam it and stay at top speed. I see a lot of people saying this makes it broken, but I think it provides for some amazing gameplay. Likewise, what should I use for Tails? Let's use the Sky Chase theme. Likewise with Sonic, SA1 features the best 3D Tails, no, the best Tails gameplay we've ever seen. Because in the classics, Tails' flight was relatively slow, especially vertical. Oh, it's not long enough. Let's use Windy Valley. Likewise with Sonic, SA1 features the best 3D Tails, no, the best Tails gameplay we've ever seen. because in the classics, Tails' flight was relatively slow, especially vertically. Here, it's lightning fast, and you have a great degree of control. He only has 5 levels. It's not long enough either. Tails' primary attack this time around is a stick in the direction Tails is moving, which makes him spin twice as fast. I can loop it. Which makes contact with the enemy. You have to keep a good distance, but also spin the control stick in the direction Tails is moving. Is moving, which makes him spin twice. Tails is moving, which makes him spin twice as fast. Just goes to show how Tails is moving, which makes him spin twice as fast. Just goes to show how something as seemingly simple as this attack can actually have some. Tails is moving, which makes him spin twice as fast. Good distance, but also spin the control stick in the direction Tails is moving, which makes him spin twice as fast. Just goes to show how something as seemingly simple as this attack can actually have some depth to it. Something that lets Tails' campaign down a bit is how much of it is pretty much the same as Sonic's. They both fight the Egg Hornet, Chaos 4, and both have both acts of Sky Chase. Because of this, I recommend Tails be the last character you play so it doesn't feel as repetitive. Thankfully, most of Tails' levels play completely different. Let's give Knuckles Red Mountain. Go after them in any order. I understand why it was changed in SA2, but this system does feel more intuitive and natural. Knuckles also gets a power, but you don't need to do anything other than find the emerald shards to complete the levels. I like to go after items and enemies on my own volition, but it would have been nice if we had more incentive to do things other than collect the emerald shards. While I do like SA2's hunting stages more than these, the radar system in this game is much better. SA2's hunting stages more than these, the radar. There we go, that's some good looping. Tearing it down, literally. I definitely appreciate Knuckles in this game for shaking things up a bit, and I really enjoy playing as him. So, okay, there we go. I'm going to use the character themes later when I'm talking about their story stent. So we're almost halfway done. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream here. I got some stuff to do in a little bit. I really hope to stream some Legends of Spyro a bit later. Really wanted to get into that, dig into that game. So yeah, I'll see you guys later today. Peace out.